Hey, what's up, champions? Welcome to Growth Mode. I'm your host, Donnie Boivin, and I'm the CEO and founder of Success Champions. I spent over 20 years in the straight commission sales game, and the last 3 going on 4 years, hell, I don't know how long I've been in business, building out Success Champions and learning to scale and grow a business. Hanging out with me as always is my buddy Kevin Snow. I don't know what the hell he does, but he is a sales and automation tactician and genius. I love hanging out with this dude. And on this show, dude, we debate all things business development, marketing, sales, how to scale your business, and we just make sure that you get where you want to go. Kevin, in today's episode, what the heck are we talking about?
I run your companies. That's what I do. So, hey everyone. So today for our topic, we're going to talk about how you actually get clients from LinkedIn. So a ton of people do this so wrong. I got 3 new ones the other day. We did an episode, a few episodes, episode 10, worst LinkedIn reach outs ever. And I've gotten some more recently. Literally, one of them started off with, this is breaking all the rules. I'm like, this is so going to be spam. This is just going to be horrible. So let's talk about how you actually, we aren't going to rehash the really horrible reach outs. Let's talk about how you actually do it right and how you use LinkedIn to fill your pipeline and actually close business.
Yeah, I love this. And if you guys haven't listened to episode 10, go look, because Kevin and I actually read out some of the bad reach outs we've gotten. So it's a lot of fun. But, LinkedIn, let me say one thing I love about LinkedIn at this moment of time. LinkedIn is becoming a business social platform, which I really, really, really love. So it's getting a little bit of a Facebook flavor, but still maintaining a business, vibe to it. And I just love that this quick moment of time we're in that's happening. Because look, at the end of the day, getting introduced to somebody and networking are, the greatest ways to grow any sort of business. And LinkedIn needed to become a badass cocktail party that just happens online. It needed to become that after hours event that people go to meet new people. And I think, partially because of the pandemic, I think partially because of the moment of time we're in, it finally turned the corner to really become your business social networking tool that it needed to be. And I'm excited about it. So going into that, I think where most people are screwing up is they're doing traditional crap-based social media, old school sales tactics and trying to think that they're going to work on LinkedIn. It's crazy how often I'm getting, messages from people that is such a bad cold outreach that I don't know how even in their head they think it would work. So first thing you need to think about, if it's a cocktail party, you need to treat it as such, right? You need to treat it as a tool that allows you to meet other people. And here's a easy rule of thumb. If you wouldn't want somebody to do it to you, don't fucking do it to somebody else. It's really simple, right? All the way through. So let's talk about how to really be badass at it. First and foremost, I think where people are screwing up on LinkedIn is they're not putting out content. They're not bringing value to the platform. And I've been trying a lot of very cool things lately to understand how do I get my brand in front of more people. And let me tell you guys, what I'm telling you right now is very much a patience game. It's going to take a minute to get it right. It's going to take a minute for people to get engaged with your content, but it does work. So, every day you should be putting out a small piece of content. A quote, a saying, a phrase, a graphic, a picture, something that puts your brand and message out there into social media land. And the reason being is you need to start letting people actually know that you're a human being. So, some of the fun things that I've done recently is I started posting pictures of my baby goats on LinkedIn. And I can hear the collective gasp now that, oh my God, he put pictures of baby goats on LinkedIn. And the reason being is it's part of my brand. It's part of who I am. It makes me a fucking human being. And the number of comments, interactions, and people that are responding to it is really fucking cool. So step one, start putting out content, but don't fill your feed with pictures of baby goats. Do it once a week, a personal post, something about you that people can connect with. So put out content. Second thing you need to be doing on LinkedIn is proactively reaching out to your ideal avatar. You need to be connecting with people in a genuine, authentic manner. So think about it this way. How would somebody successfully reach out to you and strike up a conversation? I want you to do that same shit on LinkedIn. So, I mean, Kevin, literally, if somebody wanted to sell something to your company, how should they reach out to you to be able to start a conversation?
Well, on social media, for me, the ones I like and engage back with the most are the times when someone is actually responding to me based on something I said in another post or a comment I made in someone else's post and says, hey, saw your comment on so-and-so's post. I love that you said this. What do you think about that? And asks good follow-up questions. It actually engages in a discussion with me. Because that's good. Like, all right, I know you're not an automated system. I know you're not just directly going to try and pitch me. And let's have a chat and see if we like each other.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And it's such a simple move. But what if my ideal client and avatar isn't commenting, isn't putting out content, they're not doing anything? How the hell do I reach out to them?
Same concept. You have to dig a little deeper in their world. Then you need to look at what they have on their profile. If they're not commenting and posting, what other things might you have in common? Did you go to the same school? Did you what groups are you both in on LinkedIn? Yes, everyone LinkedIn actually has groups and there's content in them. They're just not published as much as Facebook ones are. So you have to do a little looking. You can't just do a form reach out.
Right.
Like the one I got the other day of, hey, notice we have a bunch of things in common. What?
Like what?
What things? I was like, we have some similar contacts, but that's the only thing I see that's in common.
Well,
so
and what
you have to do work.
Yeah, to that point, don't use any sort of automation tools or anything because there's a lot of people that put emojis and plus signs and whatnot in front of their names just so they can catch the bots. So instead of saying, hey, John, great to meet you, we have something in common, it's saying, hey, plus sign. Hey, yep. Comma, in there versus actually connect. So don't ever use bots. And I think you're right. I think you have to go into somebody's profile and figure out specifically, what do you guys have in common? I love diving into somebody's profile on LinkedIn and figuring out, what can we work? I mean, you and I both have a cool thing with the military. If there's somebody we need to get to and they were in the military, my reach out's always going to be a smart ass move. Because, especially if they're not a jarhead, I'm going to reach out and go, I'm sorry about your service in the Army, coming from a fellow jarhead. Just love to connect. and that move gets them laughing, gets them engaging, and they'll usually come back with some sort of smart-ass comment like, go eat crayons, or something, that really plays well. So look into their world and figure out, what do you have a commonality on? And if you don't have a commonality on something, go start up a conversation just like as you would at a cocktail party. Ask them, hey, I was looking through your profile, and usually I find something we have in common to put out there. I don't have anything in common, so I'm curious, what are you on the LinkedIn platform for? What are you hoping to accomplish on here? And you'd be amazed that that simple question and maneuver will get them to go, never been asked that before. Well, and a lot of times the response is going to be is, I don't know what the hell I'm here for.
I was told I have to be here.
Right. Because most people were guilted on the platform. So, I think first move, social media, become social. It's a social network. 2, do direct reach outs and literally start commenting, making connections. And I think the third step to all of this is tell people you're on freaking LinkedIn. Like, I do a Clubhouse room every day, Monday through Friday, as long as my schedule permits, called LinkedIn International Office Hours. Starts at 7:30 Central on Clubhouse, and I sit with a bunch of real badasses that know how to do LinkedIn backwards and forwards. Just a phenomenal group of people. And in there, all we're doing is talking about how to make LinkedIn a successful endeavor. Well, in my Clubhouse profile, it says, find me on LinkedIn. And guess what? People then will come connect. And because I talk like I talk, a lot of the reach outs I get from Clubhouse to LinkedIn, they're like, hey, I heard you say fuck on Clubhouse, and that just means you're my kind of people. So, which makes me laugh, but it's a beautiful reach out. Because it told me 2 things. 1, they actually paid attention, heard me talking on Clubhouse. And 2, they're okay with my language. And I'm like, cool, that's somebody I really want to connect with. And then I'm going to dive into their world and get to know them. And I think if I'm going to reach out to a guy like Kevin, to really get into his world, is I'm going to come in from the Army angle. I'm going to come in from the Yankee angle, something that I can break the ice with. But I'm going to start asking questions and really try and dive into who he is and how he works. And the whole entire goal is to get them to a Zoom meeting that both people want to attend.
You have a really cool maneuver that you pull on people who are reaching out to you but aren't necessarily doing it in the right manner. And I love it. And it's simple. You just tell me your story.
Yep.
And it's, and I think for a lot of people, especially if they are in that traditional sales mindset, prospecting, that isn't the normal reaction that they get.
Right. Yeah. Most people, when they're reaching out to me, they say, oh, CEO, or podcast host or whatever else. And they're coming in with a nice attempt sometimes, but often it's a pitch, to try and get somewhere into my world. And I'll connect with a lot of people. Now, there's certain people that absolutely I will never connect with, just based off of some parameters I have. But, I'll connect with a lot of people, and I'll let them come in and do their first maneuver. But I'm always going to flip the script. And the script is always going to be tell me your story. And the reason I ask tell me your story is because that's fixing to tell me everything I need to know. If they go straight business on me, probably not somebody I want to connect with. But if they actually tell me their story, how they got into their industry, their field, they're married, they got kids, they travel, they do whatever, and it comes as an actual, hey, let's connect to get to know each other, I'm going to push that conversation way further than the jackass that can only talk business. And I can hear people now, they're like, but I'm on LinkedIn to do business. Well, I get it. But it's like the kid that wouldn't turn on his Zoom camera one time. I flat out during a meeting, and I looked at him and said, dude, I will never do business with somebody who won't turn on their Zoom camera and I can't look eye to eye. It's the same type of process here.
It's people buy from people they like. Oh, just because you're on LinkedIn doesn't mean that they're going to throw that concept out of the window. It's like, oh, I met them on LinkedIn, I'm going to buy stuff from them. No, that's not how it works. They need to have some sort of connection to you. And it doesn't matter what social platform you're on, chamber meetings, networking groups, there has to be that human connection. And if you're not working on that first, you're never going to get to the sale.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, and it comes down to it is a cocktail party. Imagine walking up to somebody at a cocktail party and going, "Hey, can I sell you life insurance?" Or, "Hey, have you ever thought about your health insurance?" Or have you ever looked, do you need a financial advisor, a 401k? You wouldn't do that shit in the middle of a cocktail party. So why the Sam hell are you doing it on LinkedIn?
Totally thought you were going to say something else.
What'd you think I was going to say?
You wouldn't walk up to someone at a cocktail party and say, "You want to jump into bed?"
Oh. Well,
I mean, you're just going to carry the metaphor that direction. It's like, oh, here it comes.
No, before I got married and stuff, that might have been a thing, but, too funny. So, but bottom line, guys, treat LinkedIn like a cocktail party. Have fun, have a lot of right conversations, and really spend some time getting to know people so that you can make some real, genuine connections and friends. And dive in, interact, and be somebody on the platform, and you're going to be amazed of what comes out of it. And as always, do us a favor, guys. Teach somebody how to subscribe to the show. If you get any value out of this whatsoever, grab somebody's phone, subscribe them to the podcast, tell them they can't miss an episode. Appreciate you guys. Love you, mean it. See you next time.